What's up, you beautiful souls? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Your boy Loon is back with another subreddit video, and today we are back on r/AITAH. It's been a while since we've been on this specific subreddit. It's very similar to Am I the A-hole, but it's a little bit more broad, and some of the stories are more insane. So I'm excited to dive into this. Let's see what is popping today. And shameless plug, there is the Patreon that is for the remainder of just this month, $5. So if you guys lock that in, it will not change the price moving forward when I do up it back to normal. All right, what? Hold up, I'm gonna blur this for just 1 second while I read the title, okay? Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that her mom cheated on me when my daughter said my new girlfriend looks like an OF chick? What? An OF as in only farts. Let's read this. Throwaway account and fake names. I, 49 male, got divorced to my wife, Emily, who's also 49, because she cheated on me with multiple men. That's insane. We have a son and a daughter. Our son, Nick, who's 22, has always been closer to his mom. And our daughter, Skylar, 19, has been always closer to me. Daddy's girl and, you know, mama's boy. Classic. Not knowing why we got divorced, the kids took their mom's side. I recently started dating Lisa, who's 54. She has a fun personality, she's smoking hot, and she dresses very fun. Love that. When I introduced Lisa to my kids, Nick took a liking to her, while Skylar looked annoyed. Days later, Skylar said that Lisa looks like a only farts chick. If you knew Skylar, you would be shocked that she would use that as a way to describe or to insult another woman. Wow. Come on, Skylar. You should know better. I told her that her and her mom, Emily, who was the one who cheated on me. Wait, hold up. I told her that her mom, Emily, was the one who cheated on me. So the kids never knew beforehand. That's crazy. Oof. Man, I don't know. That's a toughie because, like, would you want to tell your kids or not? I don't know. I haven't put myself in that position ever. Well, obviously, I don't have kids or a wife. Skylar just said, oh. And then she got quiet. But the next day, my ex-wife, Emily, confronted me. I reminded her that I never promised to keep her cheating a secret. She said that I implied that it would be a secret based on the fact that I never said whether or not I would tell our kids. Am I the a-hole? See, sticky situation, because technically, as an adult who is the older person, you should know better to not, like, just because you're getting offended at something, not retaliate, you know, play fire with fire. But at the same time, I don't know. Sometimes it gets a little sticky. That's a crazy situation, though. Edit, something of an update since I posted. Even though my daughter is in her bedroom in my house, I messaged her because she said that she didn't want to see anyone. She sent me a very, very long message she had written beforehand. In the message, my daughter admitted that her mom and her maternal aunt said those kinds of things about Lisa. Wow. So it's like she kind of was hearing what his ex-wife and, aunt was saying about his girl, and then she kind of was repeating it. She said she's embarrassed that she repeated those awful things. She said that she thought that I was the one who had cheated on her mom. She said she thought I had cheated on her mom with Lisa. Oh, wow. Okay, that makes sense as to why she was reacting. Also, she's 19. It makes a lot of sense. She said she's not mad at me. She said she's mad at her mom. Oh, okay. Nice. She said Lisa seems like a wonderful woman. She said that she doesn't want to talk about this face-to-face, she does want to talk about it face-to-face, but not anytime soon. She said she'll tell me when she's up for talking about it face-to-face, when she thinks she can do it without crying. Wow. That took a turn. That's crazy. Well, it looks like she's mature enough to at least acknowledge that. I respect the daughter, and you know what a POS that your ex-wife is for cheating on you, and then also saying all these like disgusting things about your next girlfriend. Jealousy is a hell of a drug. Yeah, I don't think you're the a-hole, but I do think for sure like you didn't have to retaliate. But I mean by any means I don't think you're the a-hole in this situation. Not the a-hole. Your ex is upset because she knows she's in the wrong and she has to continue to live with the consequences of her actions. She knew that she was the one who was doing all the cheating, and she knew that there was a chance people would find out. Yeah, hold up. Also, if you're scared of your kids finding out about you cheating, how about just not cheat? I know that might sound insane and like very illogical, but just as an idea, just throwing it out there. Just because she managed to delay the exposure doesn't mean that the risk goes away. She's mad at you because without you, she has no one to blame except herself. Wow, well said. That's actually perfect. Gonna upvote that. Wow, that's the most voted of the month too. We're currently on best of this month since I haven't been on the sub in a while. Brother, what? Okay, this is an update one too. Am I the a-hole for telling a woman at the gym that she's embarrassing herself? Ooh, all right, let's see. It depends on how you tell them. Because I used to be a personal trainer. Fun fact, that was my first real job out of college. So sometimes I had to do this, but like not embarrassing themselves. I'd just be like, hey, you know, that form. But we'll see. We'll see the actual situation. Summary of the previous post. Skip this paragraph if you read the post. A woman at my gym, Andrea, fake name, asked me out after some normal, not at all romantic interactions. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is not at all what I thought it was. I thought it was about like working out. I turned her down, and shortly after, I started getting a weird vibe from her and started avoiding her. She confronted me about avoiding her twice, and the second time I said she was embarrassing herself. Oof. Dude, I cannot imagine. Well, first off, if I got rejected by a girl one time, I don't think I would go for them again already. Like, because there's, I don't know, dignity in that. I don't know. I mean, some people, you know, hey, they do not care at all, and you know, persistence. But that's not me. And the second time I said she was embarrassing herself, after which she put her foot on the weight stack of the machine I was using. Whoa, that's dangerous. That could actually injure someone depending on the machine, causing me to go off of the bar really quick and slam the weights. Yeah, exactly. That's extremely dangerous. I initially thought I was the a-hole for my rude comment, and most posters said I actually underreacted. Yeah, that right there is such a dangerous thing to do, and it could also damage the weights and could mess up the equipment, and equipment's very expensive. And so most people said that he was underreacting and should talk to gym management, which I did, after which Andrea confronted me again and asked me out again. Damn, she desperate. Shorty, there is like 8,000 dating apps. What are you doing at the gym after one guy? She must be obsessed. She on that Mariah Carey, why are you so obsessed with me? You know, y'all remember that, Bob? Okay, if you don't remember that, I'm old. I turned her down and we argued briefly, and she said I needed to grow up. Actual update. Okay, so now we got an update. Andrea is banned from the gym. I was running on the treadmill and watching TV. She came up to talk to me and I ignored her, staring at the TV. She raised her voice and I continued to ignore her. She reached out and pulled the safety tab out of the treadmill. Oh my goodness, she is actually a harm to society. That is really dangerous, and it's also bad for the treadmill. The one you connect to your wrist so the treadmill stops if you fall. It's bad for the treadmill because if you're still walking on it after, it could damage the tread. Causing, well, granted, he probably stopped, but still. Causing the treadmill to come to a sudden stop. I tripped and fell onto the controls and TV, scratching my chin on the top of the screen. Exactly. That is dangerous. Guys, never mess with someone mid-workout. You wait till after if you need to mess with them, all right? I mean, don't mess with anyone, but if you had to. In the middle of any act, it can not only cause damage to the equipment, it could actually cause a real injury. He's lucky that it's just a scratch on the chin. It could have been a lot worse. Also, like if someone's mid like lat pull down, I'll give you guys an example. Someone pushes the weights down, that could tear a back muscle depending on how the form was and how much the weight was as well. I mean, there's so many freak accidents that could happen. You're just increasing the chances of one. I went to the front desk with Andrea following me. I told them what she did. Dude, she is psycho. What? She kept trying to interrupt me and talk over me, but the woman at the front desk told her to be quiet and wait her turn. I told her Andrea pulled out the safety tab while I was running and injured me. The woman at the front desk then asked Andrea what happened. Andrea said I was staring into the middle distance, like I was some kind of like I was in some kind of fugitive state. And she thought I was having a medical episode, so she pulled the tab. Yeah, good one. Cap. I bet you could pull up the camera footage too. The woman at the front desk asked for her membership card. Andrea didn't want her. You know what? I don't know why, but I feel like this was at a Planet Fitness. Andrea didn't want her to give it up to her, but the woman at the front desk said that if she wouldn't, she would have to ban her. Andrea gave her card, and the woman at the front desk said to leave, and she was suspended for a month. Andrea objected and got in an argument with the woman at the front desk that escalated into Andrea calling the woman An N word, B word. What is an N word, B word? Wait, am I thinking what? There's no way the N word and B word was like what I'm thinking is said together, because that's crazy. She just came up with a new dialect right there. What the hell? So she was permanently banned, as she should be. I hesitated to call that a happy ending because the poor gym employee had to be put up with racial harassment. It is what? Who says that? It is exactly what I thought. That's crazy. But I won't deny getting to watch her cut up Andrea's membership card felt so good. Yeah, dude. Andrea is an ultra a-hole. And a racist person. Yeah, still not the a-hole. Andrea proved herself to be crazy with a side of racist. So this is how to actually cancel a gym membership. Neat. Yeah, for real. Because you know how like Planet Fitness is like nearly impossible to cancel a gym membership? Well, all you got to do is, harass someone and say some very racist things and you'll get your thing. Actually, maybe even then, Planet Fitness might not even cancel your thing. They are insane there. Wait, this is kind of a tongue twister. Hold up. Am I the a-hole for not telling my sisters the name chosen for my unborn son because she used her BBF's boy best friend's baby name for her daughter? What? Okay, let's read this. Or her best friend? I don't know. My sister and I were both pregnant, or are both pregnant. This is her second child, and this is my first. We're both having boys. Oh, hell yeah. When my sister had her daughter 3 years ago, her BFF was pregnant at the same time. Best friends forever? Okay. My sister complained for 8 months that they didn't have any idea what they were going to name my niece. And then all of a sudden she had a name right before she gave birth. After my niece was born and her name was announced, my sister and her BFF started fighting. The BFF said that was the name that she had chosen for her baby girl, and my sister used the same first and middle name for my niece, and she couldn't believe she'd do that. Wow, she stole her best friend's baby name? That's insane. Why? There's like a million names you could use. My sister said it's first come, first serve. Oh, bro, get the freak out of... Yeah, it's that, but you don't have to be friends with her anymore then. And she needed a name badly. So, wow, you're so uncreative and lack authenticity that you would just steal somebody else's baby name that's literally about to have the baby right after you. That her BFF had time to find another name. Brother, that's not... Okay, whatever. You're such an a-hole. I do not like your sister. My sister is due before me, a few weeks before, and with that in mind, I don't want her to do the same thing to me, which is totally valid. I would totally not ever tell her, and she should understand why. And she has asked. Nobody knows we're having a boy except me and my husband, and we plan to keep it a secret, or keep it that way. But my sister has asked what our boy name is, and as an afterthought, she asked for our girl name too, when she realized I knew what she was getting at. Wow. I refused to tell her. She tried to whine about name sharing being a fun part of pregnancy. I made up a couple names on the spot to tell her. Oh, that's smart. I would have made up some too. That's good. Made up some names on the spot to tell her, and she saw right through it. She told me just to tell her name, and I said no again. How does she not get why you're not telling her? She asked a few more times. She even asked in front of our family. It was our brother who joked that nobody should tell the baby name the name they've chosen. Hell yeah, shout out to the brother. My sister got upset and asked if that's why I wouldn't tell her. Well, yeah, come on. She told me I was holding something against her that she never did to me. Yeah, but you did to someone else. I don't understand. What? How does that, just because you didn't do it to her doesn't mean that you didn't do it to someone else, buddy. Mom asked why I couldn't share the name, and everyone would know my husband and I chose it first if my sister used it, but I said no. Yeah, you're not risking it. That's like, oh no consequences. Like, what does your sister expect? Nope, not the a-hole. They all know she did it, but she'd have still done it. Don't tell anyone, not until that kid's name is on the birth certificates. I agree. And even then, I bet, do you know what's crazy? What if your sister changes the kid's name after she finds out yours? Dude, that would be nuts. What? This sounds crazy. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband if he forces his daughter to go to school with poor hygiene as punishment, I would divorce him? Who forces their daughter to go to school with poor hygiene as a form of punishment? What kind of father are you? There is a lot of forms of punishment, brother. That is not a good one. That is a life scarring one if she gets bullied and all that, man. What the hell? All right, let's read this. 41 female have a daughter who's 10. She's 10? And you're doing this to her? From a previous relationship, and my husband, 35, has a daughter, 13, from a previous relationship. Neither of those ages are valid. What the hell? No, you should not withhold like bare minimums, like actual like parenting things that you need to be providing, like hygiene. My stepdaughter had been near perfect child for a long time. She hasn't ever needed to be punished since I've lived with her father, or since I've been with her father until recently. She had a problem with another girl who's 13 at school, same age. The other girl made fun of my stepdaughter's lesbian mom, and my stepdaughter made fun of the other girl's poor mom. Classic lesbian versus poor. That would be a wild gladiator battle. The parents of the other girl grounded her for 3 weeks. My husband wanted his daughter's punishment to match the crime. What? Since his daughters made fun of the other girl's financial situation, my husband wants his daughters to feel like how it is to be extremely poor. Okay, hold up. He's kind of cooking with that, but I don't think hygiene is a good strategy for it, because you can have good hygiene while you're being poor. I mean, unless you like are like third world, really poor, then maybe. But in America, I feel like American poor, you can at least shower. Maybe. Am I wrong, chat? You guys tell me, is that invalid? Or am I like, I don't know. I feel like you could at least be decently hygienic, even if you're poor. Because as a kid, we grew up very poor, and I was still pretty hygienic. Like, we had like the Walmart brand, like the Equate body wash, mostly Equate everything. I think the only name brand thing I like had was like the Axe body spray that was like $4 or $5. But yeah, I feel like that was about the only. I don't know. I could be wrong. The other families isn't extremely poor, by the way. Just, yeah, his plan for his daughter was to go to school with poor hygiene for 3 days. No shower, no deodorant, no brushing of teeth. Bro, no brushing of teeth? Now, that's like not good, because that's actually damaging the teeth too. Brother, this is, I get what you're doing. Like, the strategy of her feeling what it's like to be poor is not a bad strategy, but the way he's going about it is not good. And reuse clothes. Reuse clothes isn't that bad, but no shower, no deodorant, and no brushing of teeth is pretty insane, dude. I told him if he goes through with this plan, I would divorce him. Am I the a-hole? Not really. That is a pretty demonic form. That's like, it's like a form of torture for these kids. 13-year-old. My stepdaughter is safe. My daughter is safe. I'm safe. And I would divorce my husband. That's the update? I don't think I should share too much. Wow, he actually went through with it then. Holy crap. Yeah, I mean, I was poor, and I feel like I showered. The fuck? Poor people do wash. People who live in shelters shower. People who live in cars shower at the gym. Yo, that's facts. I've showered at gyms before. I've also showered at a truck. Story time. One time I was in LA, and my sister and cousin left earlier than me, and I had a whole day. I really wanted to check out this gym, Barbell Brigade, by a fellow YouTuber, Bart Kwan. For all the ones who are into Asian YouTubers. But yeah, so I went to his gym, and I forgot that, hey, I'm going to be smelling like booty hole for the rest of the day if I don't shower. But the hotel we already checked out, I didn't have a place to shower. The gym didn't have its own shower, and now I was like, damn, what do I do? I didn't have a membership at like a Planet Fitness or anything. So I looked up showers that you can pay for, and the only ones around that area was truck stop showers. And they were like, I think at the time, literally like $7 or $8. So not the most ideal shower, I'll tell you that much. It's kind of like a crappy YMCA shower. Like, the setup was like very like minimal, but it got the job done. And it was pretty clean. The floors might have not been as clean as I wanted them to be. Like, there was like dirt tracks and stuff, but I mean, it's a truck stop. What do you guys expect? But at the end of the day, still got it done. So it's possible. I don't know where I was going with that. Humiliation is not punishment. It's cruelty. Thank you for defending your stepdaughter from that. You're not the a-hole. Yeah, it's like it's really telling of the husband to do something that like out of pocket too. You really want to be married to that? It's a good I call on her part. Interesting. Am I the a-hole for telling my African American friend that she can't keep gatekeeping my culture? So I, 26, am of Asian descent, a fellow yellow. I won't specify which, just for the little privacy. I'm gonna guess midway through. I have a very diverse group of friends, some white, a lot not. We all hang out and honestly have very few issues apart from the usual ones that friends have occasionally. The problem arose the other day where a video circulated of one of my white male friends had taken some time off work to travel through different parts of Asia. Hell yeah, that's awesome. I think anybody should travel, especially through Asia. Asia's an amazing place. He visited my home country and while there, dressed in some of our cultural clothing while attending some events. I think that's sick. I love that. And as someone who literally got all my friends, like we went to a wedding recently in Vietnam, and we all dressed in traditional wedding wear because that's what you're supposed to do. And we were a part of the wedding party. So like, I don't see anything wrong with this so far. Also, they encourage you to wear it. They like at least Vietnam, if they see you wearing as an American or an outsider our traditional clothing, people will come up to you like, holy crap, you are so cool. Can I take a picture with you? Like stuff like that. Cause they love that. It's more a cultural appreciation than appropriation, you know? But, as long as you're not like spitting on it or something like that, like Logan Paul in it, like terrorizing the city. Anyways, now the clothes are very comfortable and suitable for the climate, and he has continued to wear them on his journey. Hell yeah. For context, my culture gets very excited when people want to wear and use our clothing. It makes us feel appreciated, seen, and celebrated. Exactly. Literally what I said. You know what? She might be Vietnamese. Either like, or in Southeast Asia at least. Vietnamese, maybe even Chinese, possibly. But I'm feeling Southeast Asia. Not only would he have had the full blessing of anyone who he had met while in my country, but he would also have the approval of every person in my community here. The only people who had an issue were some of my African American friends. They were outraged on my behalf and left some very insulting comments on his video and in our friends' chat. Why? When I clarified my culture's views and my personal ones, most of them calmed down and apologized. One girl, however, won't stop. She calls him a colonizer, full of white privilege. And Jesus Christ, dude. And keeps assuming the right to tell him he can't wear the items despite any comment otherwise. Would I be the a-hole for telling her bluntly to drop the subject and that I find her outrage and hatred more offensive than my male friend wearing the clothes? Dude, yeah, you're not the a-hole. Also, like, when are we going to get to the point where we understand there's a difference between appreciation and appropriation? I mean, I saw the other day that there was a ex-basketball player that was making fun of Jeremy Lin when he had his braids. He was like, that's appropriation, blah, 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 blah. And he has Chinese letterings on his tattoo. And it's like, is that not the same thing? When you get Chinese, isn't that like, no, because they're both appreciation. Like, I think it's silly when somebody has like Vietnamese or Chinese and they're not, but I think it's like still appreciative. Like you effing with our culture. That's sick. Nothing wrong with that. And you know, I'm tired of us taking it. It's always Americans too. You really see Americans get, when you go abroad, at least in Europe, I don't really see it much, but if you go to like especially in Asia freaking loves this stuff. But when you're in America, for some reason, people just want to be outraged just to be outraged. And it's kind of annoying, and it's part of like the culture of American culture of like the left, right, and outrage and politics, and everybody just likes to have something to argue about. But like, I hate it when someone gets mad for me. And it's always an American person. It could be black, could be white. They're always like, you know, the savior complex of America. Like, oh, well, how dare you? I'm like, brother, don't care. I actually like it. Anyways, I've been ranting. Update. Firstly, thank you all for all the replies and support. It was all appreciated. Sorry if I don't get to the replies in the comments or message. There's been a lot. Those using it as an excuse to air aggressive views towards her ethnicity. I'm sorry, but that's not the purpose of this post and what I'm looking for. Yeah, of course. It has nothing to do with her being black or anything like that, because there's nothing wrong with anybody being anything. It's just her trying to voice her opinions through you, even though you should be the only one who has a valid. Well, I don't know, not only one, but you guys, I digress. Now to the update. I met her in person last night and we sat down and talked about the situation and my cultural views. She did promise to stop her comments, but thought I was being extremely naive about her attitude towards our mutual friend. Overall, it wasn't a very productive conversation. It seems like she has an actual problem with that guy, or with like white people doing stuff like that. As she brushed off the concept of my country's encouragement, the sharing of our culture, and said, I'm curious if that would have changed if it was a black person doing that to her. Because I feel like black, white, doesn't matter. If you're wearing Vietnamese clothing, I think that's sick. And said that our views of white people was unrealistic. Yeah, see that? I think that's kind of racist, dude. You're targeting the white people. I mentioned that we've had our own versions of appropriation issues and aggression from many cultures. Yeah. Y'all remember Stop Asian Hate? That also was brushed aside as though it had no bearing. I'm not sure I'll continue my friendship with her, as it does seem to be more deeply seated, or more of a deep-seated hatred. You know what? I am a proponent of this. If you have someone in your life who is a net negative, then why have them in your life? I mean, you don't have to be mean to them, and you don't have to be like an a-hole, but at the end of the day, you don't have to be friends with them either. I'm a huge dude. As you get older, you start realizing the faster you cut off people that are just negative people, the better your life is going to be. Like that, if that's one lesson I would have taught myself at a younger age, honestly. Not the whole Asian here too. I think people who grew up in America and people who live in their own country have a different view of cultural appropriation. People in Asia, especially South Asia, love when tourists are trying out their clothing or food or music or festivals. Yeah, exactly. They're more accepting of it as long as the tourists don't have a superiority complex or something. Exactly. You just can't be spitting on our culture. For us, it isn't cultural appropriation. Sharing your culture or immersing yourself into another one without being judgmental or acting like you discovered it is the whole point of travel. And what the hell is the point of us living our lives if we can't do that? Because if we don't appreciate each other's culture, that just becomes segregation. And then we just going back into reverse, you know? People. Yeah, I'm getting frustrated. We're going to end it on that note. Anyways, if you are a Patreon member, we'll see you there. We'll read a few more. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Appreciate, don't appropriate. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.